Alright, hey everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and I am doing actually a midday update and a pre-weekend review of this week's picks, because it's Friday. We have a 3-day weekend ahead of us. We're live on the air right now. I'm actually off the mic doing this video for you, and you can probably hear some of the underlying audio that we have.
Westcore Pharmaceuticals going to the lows of the day.
There we have Mr. Land on the news, actually announcing the news.
Charlie Oscar Romeo
That's from Benzinger,
day below $33 per share,
which is a good, excellent news service. Then we got Ben Lichtenstein Traders Audio in the back there. You can actually hear that come through. And we have other great things. But anyway, right now we're just looking at just reviewing the watch list and going into what a fantastic week it was, because we had so many great setups, new setups off the 10 for 1,000 watch list, which is a list of stocks that go out every Saturday. And we'll be having a new list going out. I'll be putting out the new list tomorrow, which identifies the HPS. Well, it identifies stocks that I'll be watching and trading in the upcoming week. Now, a lot of them are, when we try to get into a position, there's all different type of trades you can take out of your trading playbook. But really, when you stick with the discipline and the focus, and you only take the best available setups available in the market, it really narrows your search down. And what I call it is the HPS, or the high probability setup, which really takes a set of indicators, a set of 5 indicators, and layers them over each other. So once you start to see multiple indicators line up, it gives you that pretty much a higher probability for a trade. Now, this has been an ongoing thing for me, and this year, just starting on January, we really made a focus of really applying really the strict discipline, and it has just been a non-stop month so far. It's going on the second month. And I think this is just a great review of what we looked at yesterday, what actually this past week, and what we traded. And you're going to see, the core of the methodology right here. This is the core of it, and this is so important. If you do anything else, I always say, you do something different from this, you're just gambling in the markets. This gives you the best possibility. You could see over and over again, the stocks I'm going to show you have the same tendencies to line up, and it's because you're waiting for the indicators to line up. And again, the 5 indicators we talk about are stochastics. All right, and there's different ways to read the stochastics, and we always look for an overbought or oversold level, but more important, we look for what I call a coiled stochastic indicator, along with recognizable patterns. So we try to stick to the channels, understanding that stocks move up and down, but they stay within a range, and they stay within a trend within that range. So once you're able to establish that, then you know that you could buy on the lower part of the range, trade it up to the other side. So the combination of those, what makes a pattern? Well, you have to have trend lines. So we pay attention to trend lines. Also pay attention to moving averages and support and resistance areas based off of, it could be previous day's highs, lows, double bottoms, pivot areas. But that's just, and another important factor we look at is reversal candlestick bars. And we try to put all this together and give you the best opportunity for a trade. And these trades, are rotated through. Some they'll set up every couple weeks, but you have enough stocks that you're going through, there's always something setting up. So we kind of, the whole method is to get in the high probability setup, to get out when it tells you to get out, get into the next high probability setup, get out, and make this thing an automatic trading machine. So these are the trades for this past week. You're going to see something very interesting about it, and I think this is really going to just nail this home. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. We have the trade show this weekend down in New York City. So the New York City February 19th to the 22nd, I think, February trade show, and for the members, we're having a big member get-together, so look forward to that. But, I think this is, going into this trade show, I'm very happy. And this will be the, let's just go over this stuff. Let's just do it. Here we go. A classic example of the HPS setup here. Coil stochastics, recognizable pattern, lower trend line area. Again, this is a very fast little rendition of this chart. But when we look at something, we're really just looking at a couple of things lining up. And we also look in the daily time frame, and we saw that we're oversold here. So this really gave us an HPS, high probability setup. And it was an easy call. It was just because it's a quality stock. everything, you know, not paying attention to this trend line as much as you're paying attention to the signal, you know. Lots of times you might want to wait and say, oh, it's going to come down to the trend line, I'm going to buy it right off the trend line. But I found out in my studies that the signal gives a stronger, you know, move on the signal. So when the signal sets up, it doesn't really wait for that moving average to be there. Lots of times it sets up together, which is great. When in some cases it won't set up, you know, you get the signal before that, and we had the signal all across the board, multiple time frames, and you get the trade from here to here. We got a dollar off of that trade. Excellent trade, U.S. Steel. And then we had, you know, so many other these setups, PAYX, paychecks. Again, just to we don't even trade this stock. And notice the pattern, recognize all of a sudden HPS setup on it. It starts off on a daily. We break it down. We see a nice trending stock. We have a nice pullback into an oversold level. That breaks us down to the 60-minute chart. And what stands out is the coil stochastic pulling back into an oversold level and the lower trend line of this top of a channel. Now you might say, well, this is not really a channel. Well, just because it's a gap here and there's a gap here, I always start my channels in technical levels at gaps. You know, so I'm not necessarily putting it down here. If there's a gap here, and it makes more sense to put that here, I can adjust it. Let the chart build itself. You know, the chart will tell you what's right about the chart, and if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. But most likely, you find something and you say, well, that's interesting, there's a gap there, and then you would start adjusting some of the lines. You'll see that most things line up and give you at least a good indication of a channel. So what we're doing is working on the lower part of the channel. So you got a lower part of the channel entry there, lower part of the stochastic 60-minute chart, and off to the races we went. So we took that trade down at that level, got a nice profit on it, and we moved on to IRF. Again, another, you see something very familiar about this. This was really a kick-ass trade because you have an underlying trend line going out, and we had this one as a buy alert at 2160. Came right down to 2160, which is the lower part of that channel line, coiled up, underlying trend line, multiple trend lines. Is great, you know, and from that point on you can take a look at where it's gone. All right, and now we talk about the targets on the show all the time, how to determine the targets. So I mean, I'm just going to even pass through that right now. So next, you know, then we had KMI was the week before. I just want to actually go over it because again, it just gives you kind of a similar situation. Now here we got the push up, and each time it pulls back, it's a good trading opportunity. Remember, General Mills did the same thing, GIS, and these are just the trades lined up here that we've been taking. Now today, General Mills got hit on a downgrade, or lowered guidance, but that doesn't do anything. That doesn't mean anything to us. We're not in it. We were in right here. I mean, how would you like to be in here and, you know, and out here and not have to worry about this type of crap? All right, that's what the HPS setups are doing for us. You know, they're identifying the entry levels, identifying the exit levels, not saying, you know, overstaying our welcome, but, you know, instead of getting into the chop here, lots of times you'll get into a stock and it'll just go sideways for 2 or 3 days, and that's a pain. We want to be on an area where we're pretty much guaranteed the biggest move in the shortest amount of time. So we have a nice big move there. We could take it right off. We're not looking sideways. So this is what this does. It tells me everything. The price level is coiling up. We got really a perfect area right down here. And from that point on, explosive move up. Take profits. We did that. Even in the smaller stocks here, Corning, we just recently got into, you know, added to the Corning, but like the Corning because we did have a pullback, and from this pullback right here, we ran up. Today we're in the midst of a pullback. It's not a big deal. I still like it going forward. Monsanto was a perfect textbook setup the other day. Got a little bounce off of it. It wasn't in this trade. But you can see actually the pop out of this pattern. Got oversold quickly, which was kind of a clue. Overbought quickly. That was a kind of a clue that there was not a lot of strength here, and we kind of drifted back down and got oversold again, and then had the nice bounce. And this continues to climb higher now on Monsanto. But that's basically what we're looking at today. Of course, we're in the Brazilian foods. Let me just touch on that one. We've been eyeballing this one for the last couple weeks, and it was just a perfect scenario from yesterday. We called this, you know, the volume alert yesterday was really key. This has a very nice upward trend, and then all of a sudden we start again a year consolidation. That consolidation got tighter and tighter and tighter, and we just got a really HPS setup on this last week. So the combination of the HPS setup, which we said watch for that reversal candlestick, playing here, there's a pennant formation, we just got oversold, and from that point on it was just a perfect setup for a breakout. Usually these type of triangle wedges usually break out 75% of the pattern, so if we look at a pattern as being completed here and beginning here, and this is 50%, then you're looking at, you know, kind of a breakout in that range here, 65 to 75% of the pattern. You're looking for that breakout. Again, it's just definitely a you know, it's a technique to give you a little better timing. And that's about it. Not meant to be saying, oh, if it's not breaking out right here, it's not working. That's not what we want to do. We break these down into quadrants. You know, I would say, you know, to start, always make sure you have your notebook. Make sure you know your patterns, what patterns work best for you, the indicators, how they line up, and only take the best possible trades. Now, you know, that's basically what we're going into next week with. I'm going to get the watch list out for you guys right now for the next week. I'm going to actually start working on that. And we're going to I hear Dolly talking in the background there.
30, 58 even bid.
All right, back here with you. Sorry. So, all right, Brazilian Foods looks like it's on its way. 22's first target, 25 second target of Brazilian Foods. Continue to hold it for a longer term hold. Dunkin' Donuts here going into next week. Breaking out now, 52-week highs, all-time highs. Dunkin' Donuts breaking out right now. Well, actually, not officially. Sorry, my bad on that. IPO, a couple days after the IPO, was up to 31.89. But breaking out of this cup and handle, we'll call it a, you know, it's just in a real base here because it could be anything. But excellent setup going into next week. U.S. Steel continues to look good. We took profits this morning. I got back into it on the pullback because I do like the overall trend here. And we're starting to get a little bounce here. I like to see this move back up towards that $29 by the end of the day. But that's, you know, again, Friday, day before the weekend. We might not see too much action today. But this is going out for you guys over the weekend so you can think about what you need to be doing next week. And the thing you need to be doing is getting a 10 for 1,000 watch list. Because if you're not getting it, then you're losing money. There's no doubt about it. We're about a week away, I would say, from launching the HPS site, high probability sites, which pretty much alerts you to the HPS 40 of when the HPS or high probability setups are setting up. So that's going to be a great, you know, little alert there of the HPS 40 where, you know, when you do get a setup like this, you'll get an email telling you that the indicators are lining up. You get a chart
heavy
from me
volume.
Describing the trade.
Alpha, Michael,
and
Romeo,
the entry
November,
levels
spiking sharply lower and heavy volume.
Updates from that. So that's that really going to tighten up everything.
57, 70, 58 even.
So that's about it, I think. So that's it. I think get back to the markets right now. Again, it's a Friday trade, not much happening. And you can just join us here at www.daytradingradio.com. Brazilian Foods continue to make new highs on the day. CHK looking good. Intel looking good. And I'll see everyone at the trade show. Feel free to just you know, stop by, find us. I don't know if you're members, you know where to find us. But I'll be walking around the trade show. I should have some shirts to give out, so just stop by and say hi. All right, that's it. Maybe get another video out.
57, 70, real quiet trade here Friday afternoon. Trade here.